Peace and love, family. This is a big, important video I've been waiting to do for a minute. Excited about it. It's gonna answer a whole lot of questions and show y'all all the homies I got with me today. That's gonna help me with this information. You know what I'm saying? Most times I just zone out and be going off the top dome or whatever spirit be telling me. Yeah, these all the homies keep me on track. So boom. The science of vibration. Science of vibration, thoughts, matter, and what our reality really is. So boom, here we go. What is vibration? The science of vibration. So all this information is coming from www.collective-evolution.com. So the science of vibration, frequency, and reality that we live in is this. And all this information is throughout. I'm gonna be quoting physicists and, mainly physicists, and to show you that they, still have no grasp on what's really going on. So boom, here. What we perceive as physical reality is not physical or material at all, first and foremost. So this physical reality is not physical at all. This has been proven time and time again by multiple Nobel Prize winning physicists. And one of them, who is Niels Bohr, he says, he's a Danish physicist who made significant contributions to understanding the atomic structure and quantum theory. Coming out of his mouth, he says this: if quantum mechanics hasn't profoundly shocked you, you haven't understood it yet. Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real. He's saying this shit is not even real. 19th century physicists started to explore the relationship between energy and the structure of matter. In doing so, the belief that a physical Newtonian material universe was dropped. In the 19th century, they said, hey, yo, look, this physical material universe that we think we've got a grasp on, that we think this shit is not physical material at all. They scrapped that idea in the 19th century. So the Newtonian material universe belief was dropped, and the realization that matter is nothing but an illusion replaced it. Scientists began to recognize that everything in the universe is made out of energy. Quantum physicists discovered that physical atoms are made up of vortices of energy. Vortices is multiple vortexes. Vortices of energy that are constantly spinning and vibrating, each one radiating its own unique energy signature. Therefore, if we really want to observe ourselves and find out what we really are, we are really beings of energy and vibration radiating our own unique frequency. Our own unique energy signature. This is fact, and is what quantum physics has shown us time and time again. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into atoms and the structure of atoms and all that, and all these pieces of matter that we think are matter. And I did this video a while ago, but it's not, if you go down, I named it the science of thoughts, matter, and frequency, and the double slit experiment. So pretty much, I'll reiterate that video, you know what I'm saying? I have no problem. Protons and neutrons are what create the weight of an atom. Electrons dictate the nature of what an atom does / its properties. So you got the whole atom, which is not even physical, as we know, but it's the most physical or heaviest part of that atom. Protons and neutrons in the center, electrons on the outer ring, and then the protons and electrons have the same number. And this is how you get the different elements because of the atomic number, you know, how many protons and electrons they have. So boom, electrons are spinning at 6 billion revolutions per second. This is so fast that things feel solid or feel physical. And they're spinning this fast. So you have atoms everywhere that make up everything. So boom, they're moving so fast, why don't they collide? I'm about to get into what vibration is. Why don't these electrons collide? Well, they kind of do, but they really don't. You know, if you have two pieces of, you know, matter and trying to occupy the same space at the same time, they can't, you know. So when electrons collide, they displace each other, you know. They displace. So when electrons displace each other, a wave is created. So here's my notes. You have two electrons and they're bouncing off of each other. Boom, when they collide, boom. Now these little waves is created. Now you got waves. So electron displacement creates waves in all directions. It would be a 360 though. A 360 in all directions. So frequency is the distance between each wave. So this would be frequency, the distance between those waves. And so getting into matter and versus, you know, the spectrum of, okay, so to give y'all an example, I wrote it down. I don't think you can see it. Yeah, it's flipped. So you got physical matter over here. It's what does that say? 10 to the 4th. It's physical matter. 10 to the 4th will be frequencies like radio frequency. Then if you move on, you got microwaves. Then if you move on, you got infrared. And then once you get to 10 to the 5th, this is the whole light spectrum. And if you go all the way over here, you got, you know, UV, X-ray, gamma rays. Thoughts vibrates higher than all of this. So to put that in perspective and make it make sense, this is why two people can read each other's minds. This is literally why. You see, thoughts are all the way over here. So, you know, this is vibrating low, this is more solid, and then this is more not solid. You know, this is more of, it's vibrating faster, you know what I'm saying? You got a rock, which is solid, and the atoms are vibrating like this. And you got a liquid that's kind of like this, and then you have a gas that's like this. So this is like super like this, you know, and over here we got like this. So thoughts can literally penetrate your physical being because it's lighter. So when those electrons, you have nothing but tons of atoms and electrons in your brain. So when you change your thoughts, you create frequencies and waves. So those electrons that are on that electrical pathway, when you change your thoughts, those electrons will start interacting with each other and colliding, creating waves and stuff like this. So when you shift your thoughts, you're shifting how those electrons in your brain are moving. Your body runs off electrons and electrical signals. Now peep this. Inside of your brain, you have 4.2 times 10 raised to the 26th power electrons in your brain. Again, 4.2 times 10 raised to the 26th power. That many electrons in your brain. So what happened was, when I was at work one time, and to show you how, you know, this electron displacement creating waves and frequencies, you know, how people just being around each other, you know what I'm saying? We're not solid. We're picking up on these energy fields and stuff. I was at work when I had made this first video. You can go back to my other video, you know, when I was at work, one of my friends, he was just clowning the dude and shit. And I was just over there, you know what I'm saying? Just washing my car or whatever, washing the cars at the a little car wash and shit. And he was over there just talking shit or whatever. He was like, ah, da, da, da. And for some reason, the thought popped into my mind. I was just like, oh, that nigga smell like KY. Just for no reason, I was like, that nigga smell like KY. Literally, my friend walked right past me, the one that was clowning him and shit. He walked right past me. As soon as I thought that shit, he said, bro, your ass smell like KY. He damn near said exactly what I thought verbatim, except he ain't say nigga because he's white. He said, dude, that's why your ass smells like KY. I said, what the fuck? I didn't know what was going on. That's never happened to me before. That's probably the most synchronistic synchronicity I done had. Like, I was like, what? Almost instantaneously when I had that thought, he said it right after I thought it. So I don't know if I was picking up on his frequency, that his thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Because your thoughts are just nothing but electrons moving around, displacing each other, creating waves, which creates frequencies. And frequencies is, you know, and vibrations is everything that we're made up and live off of. And, you know, which is why, you know, which helps us communicate. We literally kind of like had telepathy right there. It was just accidental. And this is what we do a lot of times and don't even realize it. It was accidental telepathy. I said, man, that nigga smell like K. Dog, that's why your ass smell like KY. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing to nobody because I was like, dude, this shit is crazy. Like, that's wild. So this is how it's real. Like, this is real. All this crazy shit that we learning about, that we, you know, that we're practicing and stuff, it's best to try and make this real life 24/7, you know what I'm saying? Instead of you talking about, oh yeah, Illuminati this, oh Illuminati that. Then when somebody see, damn, Queen Elizabeth then, you know, stole some children or ate some babies and shit, oh shit, it might be real. No, try and make that shit real all the time. Y'all hear me say, I live in 5D all day. Like, you can come up to me with an article saying, oh yeah, man, they NK Ultra and they clone Gucci and and they got all this shit going on, and man, Tom Brady talking about he done used witchcraft and now he done manifested Super Bowl rings, and that shit is real life. Is real life all the time, no fake. So the next thing I wanted to talk to y'all about was the double slit experiment. This is pretty much a groundbreaking experiment that shows how our reality is what we perceive it to be, and that we control and create our reality. So boom, the double slit experiment. So they had slits, right? They had a slit. Y'all need to go watch this, so you know what I'm talking about. I'll put screenshots and stuff in here probably, but they fired physical matter through slits. So you just got a slit, you know, and then they're shooting physical things, and they used the marble. So they put marbles, you know, through the slits, you know, one slit, and it hit the wall, it forms one line, obviously, like it should. You know, two slits and you're firing marbles through them. When they hit the wall, they're coming through the two slits, and it'll be, you know, two lines of marbles formed, you know, two lines of marbles or whatever. So yeah, they fired the marbles through two bands and got two slits. When they sent a wave, you know, because they're trying to test out the behavior of particles versus waves, and electrons should be a particle, you know, electrons are a particle, they're physical, so they should behave like physical matter, you know, when they shoot them through the bands. I mean, when they shoot them through the slits, you know, so the marbles are physical matter, you know, i.e. they're acting like the electrons, so they shoot them through the two slits and they form bands. And they used water for the waves to simulate how waves function through slits. So they had a slit, you know, two slits, they sent the water wave through it, and on the wall they got an interference pattern, because when one goes through, I can't really simulate it with my hands and stuff like that and describe it, but you know, you got a wave of water and then a wave over here, and they go through and then they make multiple waves or whatever. So that's how a wave performs. So when they fired electrons through the double slit, through one slit, you know, the electrons, they formed one band like physical matter. Through two slits, they got an interference pattern with multiple bands. The electrons were behaving like waves. This shit was crazy, so they were baffled. So they redid the experiment. They fired the electrons one at a time. They got the same result. They got the same result. That's like shooting a marble through this shit's crazy. You'll see. So they're like, what? How is it performing like a wave? It's matter. You know, that electron's like, hey, nigga, you think I matter. Keep going. Keep experimenting. You'll figure out what this reality is. So, boom, they decided to put a measuring device right by where the electron goes through the slit to see how it was, what the fuck it was doing. How are you performing like a particle? I mean, like a wave when you're a particle. So, when they did this, it went through and the electrons produced two bands and behaved like matter, as if it was conscious or aware that it was being observed. I don't really know if you understand what that means, but that shit is fucking crazy. This is what okay, the electron's supposed to perform like matter. You know, it shoots it through two slits and you get an interference pattern like it's behaving like a wave. That's already crazy. They put the measuring device and this shit got even crazier. They watch those fucking electrons and those electrons are like, oh shit, they're watching me now. Okay, yeah, well, they think we're supposed to be physical matter. All right, let's act like physical matter. So the only conclusion that they could come to was the electrons behaved according to the perception or whoever was perceiving them. They're like, all right, we watching these motherfuckers and now you're placing, this is how powerful we are. And these scientists didn't understand, all right, well, we're kind of influencing their behavior. They're like, all right, nah. They're putting those thoughts, you know, because they don't know what they're doing. They're like, nah, you should perform like physical matter. You should form two bands. What are you doing, electron? How the fuck are you being a wave? How are you creating an interference pattern like the water did when you're physical matter? Like, what? And they watched him and the electron went by and he's like, oh yeah, I hear you. I'm supposed to be matter. All right. Shit, I'll be matter then. And they're like, what? This shit is crazy. This shows you the reality that we're in. So, atom, okay, if you observed the composition of an atom with a microscope, you would see a small invisible tornado-like vortex with a number of infinitely small energy vortices called quarks and photons. These are what made up the structure of the atom. As you focus in even closer on the structure of the atom, you would see nothing. You would observe a physical void. When you zoom in as far as you can zoom in on an atom, you get nothingness. You get a void. You get nothing. It's just space on that shit that looks like it's solid. Where are we living? What is this reality? You don't know. Meditate. You might figure it out. Quit trying to, because these scientists are finally saying, well, we all, you know, New Agers and, you know, people that are woke and conscious, that we all say all the time, like, oh yeah, we create our reality. These physicists have done the experiments of all experiments and came up, now they're saying exactly what our spiritual asses are saying. We create this fucking reality. That's what this shit told us. We got the devices to figure it out, and they told us, like, damn, this. So it's like, boom, you know, if you want the science behind it, it's not important, but it is, you know, to show you, like, yes, this shit is real life. This is real life. So the atom has no physical structure. We have no physical structure because we're made out of atoms. Physical things have no physical structure. Atoms are made of invisible energy, not tangible matter. Richard Conn Henry, professor of physics and astronomy at Johns Hopkins University, he says, get over it and accept the inarguable conclusion: the universe is immaterial, mental, and spiritual. A physicist. I'm sorry, professor of physics, but nonetheless a scientist. He is saying, dude, this universe is immaterial, mental, and spiritual. I ain't got nothing else for y'all, man. Let that marinate.